Yeah, I'm not sure. Everyone, welcome to the city council meeting for Monday, February 3rd. We'll open up public comments for matters on the agenda.
Susie, did you want to leave your, and after you wait, see you in the car, or do you want to stay?
Well, since you're number two, we could roll right into that.
I know if you're thinking about this one David team had on there, or it was something else. I guess I don't know if you team on that page, you know, that's it. Running your car.
On the packet. Oh, you didn't get a packet?
So one on it. I mean, not how many I needed, so. But you.
She's not.
Oh, crap. Oh. There's not one.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, you got mine.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. You got it? No. You sure no?
Did it now? Okay, so I do apologize. Dave did not share this information with the rest of us, so I'm not privy to everything he's got going on there. Um, so we did do, as part of the, tourism grant, we joined in with the big museum and the Eureka Museum. And I submitted everything back in December. Basically, we did this a year ago, but we didn't get the because we're all in county. Sherry Turner with the Libby Museum, putting forward a second time, and we had to just basically state that we were wanting to be part of the 5-year project. That way it included us with any grant. And that project is actually listed as one of something similar is listed with my letter, in regards to that grant. So, and then I was also going to question with the museum equipment down there, the mining equipment. I know we were told that it was going to be sandblasted. I know that the guys are very busy, so I'm not too sure where that sits. And I believe we were told that there was like a $500 grant that someone had put in for that as well, and shot to check with it, but then I never heard back.
Was that?
That was it was from Nita, I think. Wasn't it?
3 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And there was like so many hoops you had to drop through to get the $500 grant that we kind of like.
Did they not give us the money? Okay. I thought it was listed. I was only involved in the video, so I didn't know.
It's been a long time. I remember like, yeah, there was a ton of hoops.
Yeah, it's just $500.
Yeah, $500 that kind of just like, yeah, it's not really worth it for all the work we have to go through.
So I will try to outsource for some funding for that this year for that. Part of our 5-year plan though was to include cover track 40 to 50 area for the display of the work mine part, the mine track air compressor, and a short 30-foot section of gauge track, and the gauge track we need to match the wheels of the cart and the air compressor, of course. We were told to contact maybe I can't work the industrial area up there.
the port.
Yeah, because they have multiple different sets of track gauge up there too, so. We were just trying not to throw everything ahead of ourselves, because if we did get it, then, or if we didn't get it, then we'd have to find another source of it, so. Anyways, that was part of a 5-year grant, and of course, I was explaining that a couple of years ago, a tree had fallen down and hit the little building that the cart was under, and it hit the FB Callow building a little bit. But I don't know, at the time Tracy said that it didn't match MMIA's insurance.
Didn't meet the
For us to
deductible.
redo the little, covering.
Okay,
So that's also part of our, my 5-year plan.
did you get that replaced?
Yes, because we do want to put that all under some kind of a.
I think doesn't Echo have some kind of display, rock display up there? That Dallas talked about years ago. Has there been any? I know we talked about possibly getting that. Or,
Well, last year I was basically told that we could not do anything after budget and the budget happened. So that's what this is. I mean, we couldn't even spend our grant money that we had. I was told we couldn't spend any. So that's why my carpet did, or my some of my stuff just hasn't gotten there yet.
okay,
So
alright. If you have it budgeted. No,
yeah,
no,
and well, we had our 1,500 in there, and then we were told we had to wait until after budget to approve that. I don't know all the details of that. So
okay,
we can.
okay, just give it Paula and double check what you have in there.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay,
We're moving now.
perfect. No,
So that's all separate from what Dave was.
I think that Dave submitted everything to you guys without talking to me first.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So
do you wanna talk with Dave?
yes, and I was talking to Dave.
Yeah. Alright, anything else? Okay, appreciate that. So we do have some letters of interest for our housing committee. Which we need to kind of come up with a game plan with that, set how many people we want to be on that for next business meeting. Kind of talk about an agenda and get the ball rolling on that officially, so that way we can get going on that project. I think we kind of threw Jesse under the bus already to head that up. No, we do appreciate your volunteering. So you want to have any questions or comments on that?
Did we have a deadline put out for that? That was for Anderson. Or in January, yeah, so we have.
And we got 3 total. Right.
3 sounds like a wonderful number. I love it.
3 seems like very functional size.
Yes,
3 foot. Jesse.
doesn't sound like it'll be death by committee.
So we need to take action on that. So they won't,
So we just gotta talk about our plan and then vote the members on at our business meeting. You can't vote tonight, so this is just our work meeting. Do you want to have anything else on that? So audit. This is all Paula.
So it's not. She was able to. Nicole Noonan was able to submit the audit. I didn't think she did it till Saturday, but anyway, it shows on here. Oh no, it doesn't. It just shows that it's submitted. She had a question. One of her questions was just on the inventory, the electric inventory, because she had of course, the numbers from the previous time were from when Clint was here. Yeah. Okay. And then we had to redo it because all of that stuff
exploded in pricing, so, it was redone for that. I think what she said in her emails and how she submitted it, she went with her numbers, not what Clay had, so it's submitted. At least that's done. We'll figure out the inventory, what impact that has. Going forward, I guess. She will have her number, not lie.
What was the difference roughly? Do we know?
So when
Quite a bit.
when I started, the transformers were like $800 a pop. And then COVID hit and everything ran crazy. Now they're at $4,000 for a transformer. Roughly, I mean, they
That's
vary.
$3,200 a traffic.
And so I changed our inventory, not for what it was bought for, but for what its replacement value was. Because if I'm gonna buy one to replace something, that's the cost of use. And so our inventory went from like $1.4 million to like 2.3 or something like that.
$900,000.
Yeah, because we have to keep inventory, because not one transformer fits every location, so I've got a dock of everything down there, plus poles, plus wire, and so. I mean, nuts and bolts, a bolt's $5, I think, so. Like, it adds up quick, and that's what I guess what it was. I mean, everything shot up there and building, so. And
Is that what she needed, replacement value, or?
That's what I was told to do this, so I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a different number, I mean, I don't know, but that's what I was told was.
And I think that was something she said in her email was that, it's probably replacement value, but
That's weird, like all my inventory, my store, it's not replaceable value, it's what I paid for it, and it's cost of goods sold, is what I paid, that's what I'm taxed on. So that's a big inflated number between replaceable value and what was purchased at, as far as I mean, I would say city, we don't pay taxes, but still the value, and that's really old. That's very Donald Trumpy overinflating right there. Well, you're in trouble. That just seems very interesting that it would be a replaceable value, not purchased price.
Well, it is a purchase value now, because I purchased.
But our inventory isn't future purchase, it's what we have.
Well, that's when I buy it. On the current price of what I'm buying. So like if I gotta buy a transformer tomorrow and I call and get a quote, if it's $500 cheaper, I change my inventory to what the number is at that moment. Because that's a current price of what I'm buying it for. Like we're not making money when I sell it to the customer who wants to install. It's the cost of what it is, so.
Not the cost of you purchased it at.
Well, that's the purchase, I mean, I'm purchasing and that's the cost of the inventory. So.
you don't have any transformers here that were purchased when Clinton's here for $8.
We went through a lot of stuff, so.
Anything else, Paul?
And then I just added in there the stuff on the AFR, so the AFR was submitted, I got that submitted today. So much information about it is in there. The fee just doing it, the AFR is, for us, is 1,300. So that'll be due at the end of February. But yay, it's not, it's submitted.
Good job.
Yeah.
So moving on to wastewater project, I think council pretty much up to date on what's going on with our wastewater project, so just to recap, our bids came in and the engineer's estimate was $650,000 lower than what the next lowest bidder on the project list was. And then it went up from there significantly. So we did look at some additional means of financing for our sewer system. I did talk with Ward, I did talk with our engineer. Basically, our proposal for our wastewater system is kind of the bare bones minimum, and it's all critical that we do all the work on there. So we were not able to cut anything out of the project and try to lower down how much money that we'd possibly go out and get. For that, Montana does have a revolving fund program for projects like this, which we do qualify for through the state. And it is up to 49% of loan forgiveness at 2.5% interest rate. So currently, Chris Hayes had one of their staff run the numbers on what we have for current services, which is 515 services. And at a bare minimum, if we went out and if we weren't able to get the 49% and finance it at 20 years, we would have to look at a minimum of $5 rate increase. And if we, or excuse me, that was a $10 rate increase. And if we did get a loan, 50% loan forgiveness, 49%, we'd get a $5 rate increase that we'd have to do to be able to cover that loan. He is actually looking into combining our existing loan with this loan to see what our options are, whether we can combine them, get a better interest rate, lower payment rate, something like that. I have not heard back from Chris. I did hear back from him late Friday, that we are above the required combined target rate for the state of Montana. So meeting our rate is not below that target rate, so we do qualify for that loan. That's one other hurdle that we have to have in place. And excuse me, there are a couple things that will throw a wrench into this project and have to probably go out and do a little rebidding. But first is the ARPA money. It was Buy American Act. And if we use Montana State Revolving Fund, we have to comply with American Iron and Steel, Montana State and Davis-Bacon wage rates versus the federal Davis-Bacon wage, which is Montana's probably higher anyways. And then ETO, affirmative action, meaning small contractor, subcontractor solicitation, and then having a project signed. So our overall cost of the project, just by meeting those, may go up some. Chris has not heard back from the contractor yet that I know of what that cost increase may be, to meet those requirements for the Montana State Revolving Fund project. But Ward and I did talk a little bit more about this, and right now our sewer project, I think at the end of last year, we had around $65,000 in our reserve fund, which isn't anything. If you looked at the bid and one of the 8-inch valves is $30,000 to be able to put into that project. And we're one catastrophe away from something very significant, and we probably need to start looking at doing a rate increase to a point to where we're actually starting to build a reserve quicker than what we have been. Our water is in the same boat as it is. Historically, for decades, the previous people sitting on this side of the table has been very conservative on doing rate increases by doing the bare minimum. And we're now seeing the effects of bare minimum rate increases by having no reserve and having to go out and get financing for a project that is much needed. And so over the next few months, we'll start to explore that. I was on a call last Friday with Chris and ARPA, and we have to use all of our ARPA money by the end of the year. So we have time to get our Montana revolving funds in place to where we can finish up the project and pay for it. But we have to spend our ARPA money first. That's a state requirement. So that gives us time, because we do have to do a rate increase, and then we have to do public hearings on that. It's about, I think, a bare minimum of 90 to 100 days, depending on how everything falls within the calendar. So it's by no means a quick process, but we will have to do that. So
Probably need to get on that sooner than later.
Yes, I'm still waiting to hear back from Chris because just because we're $650,000 short from the next bid, that doesn't leave us contingency. And then if they have to go out and the bid goes up for this, we may be asking for more, but we do qualify for 49% loan forgiveness for that. So if we ask for 800,000, we'd be roughly financing 400,000.
Yeah.
Fun times begin. Moving on, public comments for matters not on the agenda.
Do we have, the ordinance that we put in place regarding the snow plowing, like the parking on city right of ways, that we're gonna do on that, correct?
Never voted on it.
Maybe. Like Patty was asking, the guy from the head of the road department was gonna put up signs on the highway so that they can plow and not have cars parked congested.
On the
like,
highway?
Yeah, especially by town pump and the school, and cars that are parked right there, makes it hard for them to plow.
Well, that would still be state
Mhm.
versus city, so our ordinance wouldn't cover that.
Heard that? Yeah.
No, because that's on what I. So it'd be our jurisdiction.
The head guy is saying that they needed approval from us to do that, so.
I don't think so.
Alright, I'll pass
I
it.
was taking the signs down now. Cause he's not, Travis is the head guy from the state, he's the one that cites and all the signs.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Right. I'll pass it along.
Yeah.
Put them up.
yeah. Push him out of the way.
Don't park out join it first. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that would be the state. So-
Okay. And then, what was his name, that came in about the flags? Justin, about the flag, he came to my store on Friday and asked if we were moving forward with asking the school or whatever the flag was about the city flag.
Oh, yes, design of the city flag, yes, so. I guess what are your guys' thoughts on having a contest for the?
I think we read right now.
Yeah.
And Jamie Palmer's art class or something, or in school, I do it.
Yeah. I will coordinate that through my wife. So,
Okay.
she can't yell at me right now, she has no voice.
Okay.
Slowly coming back though, I'm sure there's a list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's backed up. Yes. Any other comments? No. Just one thing, we did do an interview last week for one of the officers. We had two candidates that were gonna interview. One guy did not. He wasn't able to make it. He got stuck up in Eureka with a snowstorm. So we're trying to reschedule that now, but we do have one. I did contact Bob to let him know that we do have one candidate to get qualified for the police commission, so he will get that done. And once we hear back from that, move forward. So the candidate did a very good job with the interview.
Yeah.
So Scott,
Be able to fit.
Travis and I did the interview on that. So yeah. Mhm. And he is ready to go. So so Ben Kibbe, Linda Rodriguez, and then Bob Henson. Peterson, I'm sorry. Yes, so we'll do that. Yeah. Do we have Michael's last day? Yeah.
No, I just asked him the other day, he hasn't heard from MHP when he's supposed to be, heading out. So he was gonna try to stay here as long as, I mean, probably, I think it's at the end of the month.
Okay.
That was March, something March.
Well,
And then tentatively.
yeah, I think, well, he thought that the academy, was beginning of March, so he kind of, somewhere around the end of February, but he said he hadn't heard anything back yet, so.
And see if we can double check on that and then let me know as soon as possible, cause. then we can
Yeah. Get that,
plan accordingly.
get things moving forward.
Alright, nothing else? We'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.